Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mandates with Guitar Greats. I am your host for the day, Mr. Levi Clay, and I am here with the incredibly talented, one of my all-time favourite players. We'll talk about how he's influenced me later on in this interview. Mr. Kiko Loureiro, how's it going, buddy?
How are you, man? It's great to be here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
really
done
happy.
lots of conversations on Skype and Zoom before, doing transcriptions, which of course we'll talk about. But it's nice to be able to share some of those with people and get a little bit guitar nerdy. So yeah, where are you right now?
I'm in Finland. Yeah, Friday morning in Finland, Helsinki. Yeah, it's minus 20 Celsius outside or something like this.
Yeah, it's not often when I get to talk to somebody and we mention the weather, which is an incredibly British thing to do, talking about the weather at the start of an interview. But it's not often someone has worse weather than me. I'm in Scotland, of course, and so it's raining. I've not looked outside, but I'm pretty confident it is raining right now because of course it is. But
99% chance it's raining.
It's not minus 20, so I guess there's that to be happy about. We are here today to talk about a couple of things. You and I have been working on your transcriptions for the last best part of a year now, actually. We have done the transcriptions for open source and also No Gravity. So I guess before talking about those, why don't we talk about your latest album, which is open source.
Even I have it here so people can see the yeah,
beautiful.
Beautiful stuff.
Could you tell us a little bit about the kind of idea behind it? Because the title open source kind of gives a lot of that hint of what the idea was. It's more you've involved the fans a lot more in it, right?
Yes. So years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, and all this, I was in LA, right? I'm here in Helsinki since the pandemic, since March 2020. So, when you see a lot of tech stuff happening, and then you see like the new rock stars are the CEOs of the startups, right? So we have this, everybody wants to be a entrepreneur, of, and then back in the days, I would say like people would like to be a guitar player, and then I'll have a band or be or be on TV or something like this. And so thinking about this, why? And why people say like music has no value, then suddenly like it's a commodity, right? Music. So you have to do something else while you're listening to music because music is just there, like water. People don't give the right value to the unless you start thinking what would be life without music, right? But that's a conversation for musicians. So like thinking about this, and then why is that? And then one thing is like because everything evolves, right? So if you have a software, a month later you have an update, and then you always have an update, and things evolve, right? And then start to heaven is start to heaven, it's always there, which is cool. So you start to be nostalgic, but then it's accumulate of a lot of songs and music. I don't know. That was like reflecting about this, and then of course playing Megadeth or going big stages and big festivals. You see like all the rock stars that I grew up with listening to, right? Grew up listening to, and then the world's just different. And then the fact that when you compose a song, this song's is your song and nobody can touch because that's yours. I think it's pretty much different now.
Yeah.
So I started from the idea that, okay, I will do my songs and this is the beginning of something, which I don't know because the update will be for anyone.
Yeah.
So this is very helpful. Well, in my case, that I did several albums in my life.
Yeah.
And then I'm 48, right? So what else can I do? So I start thinking, and then like, can I do something new? And then you have some kind of a pressure of, can I be different of myself? But I'm this is Kiko. I cannot be different. Probably I will do another album that is probably going to sound like the other albums that I did, right? So you have these fears and these conversations with yourself. And then, but if you put in a position that this is what I do, this is what I am, and then here it is, you guys can do it better. So you put in a position that uh, that's the best I can do, but I know that somebody will do it better. Instead of I'm the fucking greatest,
Yeah.
and then nobody touch on my song.
Yep.
You know, so I think only changing the perspective, even before having the songs, you're like, okay, whatever I play is good because
Sure.
that's me, and then somebody else can come and do it better.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in the internet times, a lot of people suffer with this because you are what you are, and you look the best of other people from the entire world.
Yeah.
And then you get like, man, I'm not as good as all those people.
Sure.
And then it's very difficult. I believe for a younger generation must be very difficult because it's difficult for old guys like me.
Well, we're seeing that at the moment with guys like Matthias Sasato, who does play a guest solo on open source. He's just walked away from...
Yeah. I called him. I had a conversation with him last week.
Yeah.
Right after I heard the news, you know, to know what's going on and if I can help. You know, I've been there, you know, for 30 years in this.
Yeah.
You know, since my first album was in '93.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, things have changed so much, and I can see the pressure that the Instagram scene and the YouTube scene, if that's your kind of business, the pressures that puts on you, constantly comparing yourself to other people. Now, personally, I don't think that Matthias is that guy, because he's always been so damn unique. But I can see the kind of the thoughts that one might have on the scene, on what the industry is becoming, and whether or not you want it to, you know, you want to hold on to what it used to be versus what it might be. And I kind of like the open source nature that you have. I thought one of the cool things, and we talked about it when we were doing the transcriptions, you did jam videos with people, right? You did recordings of tunes, left sections for people to play, and then people are uploading videos of them filling in the gaps. That's just such a cool thing to do, and you've been checking those videos out and sharing those, right?
Yeah, so that was the idea. And also I anyone, then you can put the links to download even the backing tracks for free, and then all the stems for free. You know, so with the stems, with the you know, with the MIDI information, so you have all the tempo map. You have, I mean, then the person has to know a little bit more.
Sure.
My idea would be something else, but that was the easiest and possible way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to have something more with some extra technology that a normal person could play around with the thing, you know, with the tracks. But anyways, you have the isolated tracks, only drums, only bass, only guitars, only solos. And I believe as a guitar player, you know, like that's awesome. Even me is like, let me listen only the keyboard tracks. What's the sound design under the tracks? Or let me listen only to the rhythm guitars. Or if you want to learn how to play, you can isolate the tracks. And it probably was very helpful for you.
I was just going to say, like, I've transcribed a lot of albums for a lot of people, and now moving forward, I'm not insistent with people, but I'm like, look, I know it might be a little bit of work, but if you can get me the stems, it helps me so significantly, because after doing that record with you, that's the only way to do things. It's not the only way, but we went into serious detail with those transcriptions. Every little overdub.
Man. I want to hear in public, tell everybody that you're a genius. Seriously, you're a genius, and it's unbelievable. And the first song you sent, and I was listening just the MIDI, the Guitar Pro thing. I was like, man, I even crossed my mind on doing like a MIDI version and put it on Spotify. You know, like Spotify.
I do think that's a great idea, but I also know the level of work.
So you guys can tell me. Let's see. Just put like the Guitar Pro, and then just listen like a
make it
Mario
sound as
Bros
good as you possibly can. Though saying that, and we'll talk about this as well with No Gravity. When you did open source, or when we did the transcriptions for open source, you had just released the album, so it was all ridiculously fresh in your mind, and you certainly do get people questioning the accuracy of artists' transcriptions. I'm sure we've all bought transcription books in the past where we found things in there that are certainly questionable in nature. I remember getting like Greg Howe's Introspection. That is an absolutely dire book. And actually, to be fair, talking about the idea of open source, you released a No Gravity tab book way back in like 2006, I think. And there
Yeah.
are definitely parts in there where I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, we went over the open source transcriptions in painstaking detail. Like I did all the transcriptions, and then we must have spent about 3 or 4 hours on Skype going through things one note at a time. And the level of detail
Like,
that you had with corrections
this
was
is not
just
a
incredible.
legato. This is a slide.
Exactly. Or I definitely would have played that note on the B string, not on the high E string. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, just one note in the middle of a lick. I'll take it. So I would recommend that if people want to go and support your work, do head on over and check out those transcriptions.
Yeah, it's like, but you know why I was good to, well, first, when it's like 99% correct, it's fun to go into the details.
Yeah.
You know, then you can do it. If it would be 50% correct and you need to deliver the book,
yeah,
put out like Good Old Times, How Leonard stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just make it closer, like at least the notes are correct.
Yeah.
Like all the fingerings are completely wrong. At least the notes are correct. If the guy plays that, he's like, okay, that sounds, you know, I don't know how to play, but but for me, having what you sent the stuff was 99%. So now this songbook is gonna be great for me. And all the time I was not thinking about selling and making money.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, man, every time I need to play those songs, I will go to the songbook.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, because now you spend the time and I spend the time remembering the way I played.
Yeah.
So every time, like a tour in 5 years, that I need to play one of the songs, I'm going back to the songbook.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that in the old No Gravity book, although I was there writing the stuff. So there's a lot of stuff but again, that's the situation. It was so hard. I had to learn how to do the whole thing. Like it was so much work. And then that's why it was only my first album had a song, had a songbook.
Sure.
Then I said, no more, no way. I don't know how to do it.
Well, I get the impression you've changed your mind on that. I hear rumors of a Universo Inverso book coming.
Yeah, because you exist.
That's a good...
You know, seriously, because if I have to do it, it's like, I don't know. It takes forever because it's not my... Yeah. I don't know how to use the software, like the Guitar Pro or like a Sibelius or something. The other one we're using Sibelius, and then
so slow. It's such a slow piece
it's like,
of software.
This is crazy, and then that's why. Yeah. I mean, it was great, and now we have the chance to have the PDF. Back in the day, you have to do the books, and you have to do at least 1,000 books.
Yeah.
So it's very specific, and in the end, you have like this room full of books.
Yeah.
and paper. And then, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have an updated version. And because of that, we were able to go into a level of detail that you just simply couldn't have in a physical book.
No.
There are tracks on, particularly in No Gravity, I can think of tracks on there where there's like 6 different guitar parts. And we've got every single one of them all transcribed. And that means that the transcription book in the end is like 325 pages or something
300
like that.
something pages, yeah.
Printing that gets expensive, but
printing that is impossible, and then nobody's gonna really read. But if you have this digital, and then you have in the Guitar Pro, and it's like, I want to play the rhythm. Let's see. Yeah. And if one day I want to bring a guitar player to play with me, here's the, you know, or whatever, and then and then having the Guitar Pros that you can change the tempo and you play along. And then this is a different world.
Yeah, it is really cool. And so what you're really talking about there is the kind of change in the way we work with things and the way the industry has changed. And I think that's a great kind of springboard to talk about the change in you and your recording from No Gravity all the way up through to open source. Like when No Gravity came out, and I put out a video talking about the top 5 underrated instrumental guitar albums. And number 1 will always be No Gravity for me because it's just an unbelievably stellar album. Full of great songs, but it was recorded in a completely different time, right? Things have changed so significantly. I think that anyone watching this interview right now needs to stop it, go and check out the song Escaping, and just accept that what you are listening to there is greatness at a level that very few people can ever achieve. It's incredibly musical.
thank you.
The guitar playing is
Thank you.
ridiculously expressive. But things have changed so much, right? So how has recording changed for you over that time? Because we talked about stories of you remembering recording No Gravity, sleeping in the studio and writing things.
Yeah.
Like, how has that changed versus open source?
Yeah. So the No Gravity it was 2004. We're not talking about the 90s.
Yeah.
This is already computer time.
Yeah.
Right? We're already like Pro Tools time. But we can go back in the days. But anyways, like we were recording Angra. So used to play in a band called Angra from Brazil.
Yeah.
We were recording Temple of Shadows, which is a great album. It's like the fans from Angra consider one of the best of our career. And we had some the singer had some problems singing vocal stuff, so we had to give a break a few months,
right?
And for his recovery. So, and I had like few songs, maybe escaping. I wanted to do a solo album, but I'm the band guy,
Sure.
the Angra guy. I don't know if I'm capable. And this is like all before the social media. So the pressure was always there, It's always going to be there. Of course, now you feel like right away because you get the ratings of you're doing.
Yeah.
In that second, like, is that a heart? Is that, everybody's rating everybody. And then before, you would have a time to, you have to record, you have to release, and then you're gonna hear what people are gonna talk about a year later. But people has to see the good side. Now we can check. Oh, this doesn't work. Next day you erase and do it again. So the Liquid Times, right, is the name of one of my songs of the open source. So Liquid Times, you just erase. And then before you have to do it, spend all the money, print the CDs, find a deal, somebody to distribute the CDs, wait for the interviews, wait to get into the store, and then people don't like it. And now, if you want to do it again, you have to start all over again and then spend the money again and try again. So it's so much easier. It's so much easier. People complain it's difficult because there's this thing of people judging people all the time. But you can use this in your benefit, right? So record. So I had this period. So the producer, Dennis Ward, he was producing the Angra album. Then I said, as we had we're going to have some few months. We don't know what's going to happen. And then I asked, hey, Dennis, I have some songs. What about we do a solo album? And then because I had the band already, and then the band was successful, I was already, Young Guitar Magazine cover. And so I couldn't just do a CD in my bedroom. I needed to a certain level. So hey, Dennis. And then he said, no, I can do like a good price for you because instrumental music, who cares? Nobody's going to buy. So then you can use this in your benefit as well. Like, there's no money in this thing. And then, let's do this. I can do for 23 days. He said, I can do this for 23 days. This price, that's my at the time I have. So I went to Germany. So I found Mike Tirana, the drummer, because he was a metal guy, but he had some fusion-ish vibe as well, because that's what I wanted.
Oh, you need it. Your influences require it.
Yes. So I wanted to have like a more all-around drummer, but not a fusion drummer, still metal, double bass. So Mike Tirana, he said, okay, I can send me the tracks and I record it, and then it's going to be a one-day work and whatever money he has. I said, no, you don't understand. I want to play with you. He wanted me to send the tracks, one guitar, one side, click track, another side. He would do it. No. I want to play with you. I want to make music.
Right.
So that's the beginning. And I think this was very important because now we do a lot of collaboration. Of course, different times, different technology. But I said, no, I want to play with you. I can't, it's not possible to imagine somebody playing my song without seeing my face.
Sure.
Without being in the same room of the person. So that was my mentality in 2004.
Yeah.
Right. So that explains a lot. So there was the Messe, the trade show in Germany, right? So it was kind of the same time. So I found the guitar company to pay my trip to to Germany. So I stayed in the Messe, and then I went to Hamburg. So Mike Tirana is an American drummer, but he was living in Hamburg. So I went to his basement with his drums, and then we worked on the songs. It was great.
Yeah.
Because some songs I didn't really have, completely finished.
Yeah.
And then we spent like maybe 4 days there, and man, good times. I remember I came, look, good times. I came to Hamburg, went to the hotel just to have this rehearsal with the guy. And then I wrote his number on a paper. And then I wrote the wrong number. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
It was one number was wrong, was missing or something.
Yeah.
So I was calling, it was a German guy, like he was pissed off because I was calling all the time. And then I didn't know what to do. How I will find Mike Tirana in Hamburg, like good times, right? So many stories like this, if you think nowadays, is impossible, right? Just send a DM, an Instagram DM.
Yeah, now it's
find the person.
The equivalent story would be, hi, I sent him an email and I just kept mistyping his email address. Ha ha ha. That's not funny.
Yeah, exactly. Something like this, but like calling from the, from the public telephone.
Yeah.
So I found somebody that he was a Mino symbol.
Sure.
So we called the Mino to confirm the.
Right.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart move. Call Mino. Yeah, we need this. And then he was there waiting for hours, Yeah. And so we rehearsed. Then we went to the Messe, was in between. Then we went to the studio. He recorded it 1 day and a half. And then he had some percussion. So he recorded a little bit. We had some fun, like playing together some hits, some stuff. And then some percussion I added later, some cowbells and shakers and stuff, even some snare stuff. And then I recorded the bass. I didn't think about the bass play.
Yeah.
I mean, I was my idea was to call the Angra Felipe.
Sure.
The guy who recorded open source. It was great, amazing bass player. But then it would be like, have to bring the guy to Germany, pay the tickets. So and then the producer then is like, Kiko, you just play the bass.
Yeah.
And then I played the bass because I was practicing the bass there.
Sure.
So the computer with the internet was inside the studio, and I had like an apartment outside the studio, inside the same complex.
Yeah.
So at 7 p.m. they would close the whole studio, and then I have no internet access anymore, for emails back then, right?
Yeah.
And then from 7 p.m. until the 10 a.m. next day for the recording during those 23 days. I had German TV channels, so I was playing.
You and your guitar. That's all you
So
had.
I did all the keyboards.
Yeah.
I did all the keyboards, the MIDI stuff. So I kind of set up like a keyboard with some things there. I composed the song "Beautiful Language," and there, and I practiced the bass. And then, to record the songs. And then what else? Yeah, and then kind of finalized the songs and, thought about a little bit more about the melodies and stuff. And then there's a lot of guitars in every song because I thought, this is not enough. I was afraid, this is not good. This is not good. Let's add more stuff.
Yeah, there are.
Because I was afraid to be not good enough,
Yeah. You've got there are tracks where it's like, oh, we've got the rhythm guitar on the left and the rhythm guitar on the right. They're playing harmonies with each other, but then we've got lead guitars over the top and they're playing harmonies with each other as well. And then there's a counter melody that goes with that as well. And that's
yeah. But who's the? We can blame one specific person for that.
You.
No, Steve Vai.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah, we have to blame him because every time you start adding the guitar, it's like cool. Yeah. That's like Steve Vai.
Yeah.
So start, or Brian May, another one we can blame.
Yeah, just do more and more. When we compare No Gravity to open source, like with open source, we had stems to work with transcriptions. With No Gravity, there were no stems. So stuff like that was hard
Yeah.
work. And what I point out to everybody that the level of detail that went into the open source transcriptions in terms of checking them with you was all there with the no gravity ones. The memories that you're sharing now of recording that, I can assure everybody now that you have the exact same level of memories for the guitar parts that you played. The level
Yeah.
of detail in correcting things was absolutely astonishing. The same thing, like that note's definitely a slide, or definitely played that note on the B string. And
Yeah. 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 I never, I don't like smoking marijuana, so I kind of remember the stuff. But the thing is, important to say, it was kind of the no gravity helped shape my styles.
Yeah.
I would say, and then a lot of licks and phrases that I play comes a lot from there.
Yeah.
Because playing those songs for so many years, and and then kind of, in a good way, in a bad way, because in a way, the more you repeat yourself, you kind of take ownership of
Sure.
those licks and
Yeah.
that sound, but then you're repeating yourself all the time. Then you want to get out of those places, and then it's hard because it's so you, and so you have to find this balance.
I think it's funny that you of all people would say that, though, because you've got licks and things that you play that are part of your identity, but in terms of your sound, it has changed and it has evolved so much. Even just going from No Gravity to Universo Inverso, that's a totally different record, right? Wikipedia would list it as heavy metal jazz fusion, but it's just a jazz fusion album. It's like really
that was even like a crazy idea to do that, but it was something that because as I was playing in a band, so the solo career was not my main career, and then it's like, well, I will do this. I like this. I like the fusion and the Brazilian stuff. What about if I do like only that?
Yeah.
But the story of this Universo Inverso is even crazier. Like every album is not an easy stuff. That's why it's hard to start like a new one, because
Sure.
it's gonna be a long journey, full of things, full of emotions, in like anxiety, like, because you're gonna show who you are.
Yeah.
Like that's me, and that my songs. That's the best I can do. Because you're like going to studio, you're like taking your time to repeat as many times as you want. That's all your ideas. You're organizing the whole thing. So it's like that's a World Cup for you, like that you have this 60 minutes to prove your entire career.
Sure.
It's like Moments of Truth, which is the name of one song.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling all the time like that's the moment of truth. Because when you're in a band, it's very hard because you have the relationship with other guys, but you're always sharing the responsibility of is this good or bad, know?
And this is all you, which is I mean, it's a lot of pressure. I know that. I put out a record with my name.
It's
like
the internal pressure. Nobody's pressuring you,
Yeah.
It's like it's all about you. Because in the end of the day, nobody cares.
That is absolutely true. Can't argue with that. So Universo Inverso, we'll get a book for that at some point, and then who knows? Maybe we'll get some more. We'll do some Full Blast and some Sounds of Innocence. There's some great tunes on there. I am a big fan.
Yeah. It's okay. I just remember, like, my first interview I did for No Gravity in Brazil was like a rock, or like a rock metal magazine. The first question: why the world needs another guitar album?
Why does the world need any more music? Let's just go with that. Like, I'll just say that in every interview moving forward.
That's a great answer to that, right?
Yeah.
But that's back in the day, you didn't have like the kid in the bedroom, like the haters.
Yeah.
But you did have the journalists, like intelligent people, putting you on the spot.
Sure.
To get from you, not in a bad way, because these journalists I knew, but he wants to be a good journalist.
Sure,
and then a good journalist is like to put you in the spot, and then like getting good stuff from you, and then like challenging you. So it was very hard. I remember like the worst country to do interviews was France.
Really? Why?
Because they were like very, like checking you. I mean, difficult, not in a bad way, because after back in the day we would do like a promotional tour, doing a lot of interviews, right? Phone calls and then after this 10 days of promotion, you would have like a perfect concept for the album that you would replicate in all the other interviews for in other countries.
Yeah.
Because they challenge you, and then you have to like figure out how to make it that you are like, because they're thinking about Victor Hugo or like what they're thinking about the whole cultural depth. They always had, the French has. So the journalists, they're like that, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Fortunately, things are changing in that respect. It seems odd to me doing things in that way back in those days, because they're doing a long interview with you and then they're editing it down to put in text format. Like, you never really get to see the artist being put on the spot. I don't like to put artists on the spot. I like to do these more conversational. But I could imagine the fun of getting to watch an interview like that back in the day. It's always fun to see someone under a little bit of pressure. I'll try not to put you under any pressure.
Yeah. Well, give me your show me your French style.
All right. Let's talk Megadeth then, of course.
Okay.
What controversial things could I say about Megadeth? No, I don't really think there's anything controversial to say about Megadeth. I think as a band, easily my favorite of all of that kind of authentic thrash metal things. Anybody that would choose Metallica over Megadeth needs to go and see their doctor, because there's clearly something not quite right in your head. I remember when Dystopia was announced and you were announced as the guitar player, a lot of people were doing the whole like, who's that type thing, and I was like, no, trust me, this is going to be incredible, because here's the controversial one: Chris Broderick in Megadeth. Doesn't really do anything for me. I think that Dystopia is absolutely incredible, and you've just finished recording a new album, right? So you're on the spot now. What can you tell us about the new album, and what can't you tell us?
The new album, yeah. I mean, now it's different than the Dystopia in the sense that I joined the band right there at the studio, right? So they were starting pre-production. Most of the songs were already there. They were working on the songs. And then I went to the studio. I went to talk to Dave. Then they said, okay, go back to Nashville, right? I was in LA, go back to Nashville. And then they were there at the studio, Dave and Chris Adler, drums, producer. And then, okay, we're going to announce you as the guitar player of the band. So, and then suddenly I was inside the studio as a band member without knowing the personality.
Sure.
As I explained to you about the drum, Mike Turana, I want to know how you make music with someone that you don't know. Because for the ones that plays in a band here, or people that compose with other people, it's hard. It's really hard to tell, I don't like your song. How do you say that?
Sure.
I don't like your shirt. You just don't, I don't like the way you dress. You don't say this to people that you just met, right?
I don't like
your hair. Why you have this long hair? Why is this? Why do you have this orange headphone? You don't say that. You
can't say that to Dave Mustaine ever. I'm sure there's never a point where you can be like, Dave, this sucks.
On top of that, so like the Dave Mustaine reputation, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I was when I went for the first time Nashville for the audition.
Yeah.
That didn't have the audition. I bought his book, his biography. So like, okay, let me see that. It's like all those stories. Like, okay, but it was very cool to record Dystopia.
Yeah.
Because I had 20 years on my back of being a band member.
Sure.
With same stories, different level of different size of band. Sure. Same thing. Maybe not as much as the drugs they been through, but same drama. The drama the same things, just different level of money and different level. But the human beings, doesn't matter if you're talking about 1,000 or 1,000,000.
Yeah.
The fight is, the pressure is the same. Doesn't matter, And so I had this experience, and this was really helpful to be there to navigate the whole thing, and then be cool and be as musical as I could. And then, that's why in the album we have acoustic guitar. I play the piano. I'm not a pianist. There was like a piano there, and they was playing. And Dave's like, "Oh, this is cool. Let's put it in the album." I recorded this snare.
Oh, okay.
In the intro. There's an intro.
Yeah.
It was like a Marshall snare, so I recorded. So I was like, I was the musician kind of guy.
Sure.
I was the new guy. So when you're new in a place, which is like good advice, I guess. When you're new, you can be anywhere, you can be anyone, right? In a way, you can reinvent yourself as well.
Sure.
You can show, you know what I mean? Like more like a Bruce Lee thing,
Sure.
Be like water, my friend, just like, right?
Fill in all the gaps.
You can be. So if you're smart enough to navigate, understand what's going on, because I had the experience. Now in the new album, I'm talking a lot of stuff. You asked about the new album, and I'm talking about the previous one. But that's the coffee here. So sorry.
The coffee. Lift the mug up. Lift the mug all the way up. Show us the mug.
Yeah, I have my everything is open source here. Well, yeah, that's what happens when I have a new album.
Yeah,
so I have T-shirts and stuff. The new album, now you know everybody. Yeah, that's a bit easier in a way, But but it's never easy.
You're not the new guy.
It's never easy.
You're not the new guy anymore, are you?
I'm not the new guy anymore.
Because Dirk's in the band.
Oh yeah, well that's yeah. But also we have like a 5 years relationship, and then we did the tours. Now I have another very important element, which is I know the fans.
Sure.
Because before, during Dystopia, of course I know Megadeth. I went to the shows. I know the band, but it's different when you're in the band and you do all the meet and greet. You talk to the fans. You see their reaction. It's different. It's all metal. Yeah. But the Megadeth fans, they have a specific taste. They, now I understand better because we did several world tours. So I know, how's the, the Russian Megadeth fans or the American Megadeth fans or the Argentinian, so that's very helpful in a way, And then on Dystopia, I was listening to the old albums, which is very important for everybody, that wants to be a musician and composer or having a band or a sideman. You have to understand the concept. Everything is all about the concept, and what is all about the band. So it doesn't matter the scales or the technique. We talk a lot about techniques and stuff, but nobody talks about what's the artistic concept of this band. Yeah, and then who they are, and then what's the frame. And then, so knowing this, much easier to give opinions and ideas. Yeah. So all my ideas on Dystopia was, what about this, like you guys did in Countdown?
Sure.
What about this, like you guys did in 87? Yeah. Because I understand the frame. Yeah. So I remember trying to do a solo. There was I tried to put a Lydian scale. Right. And then Dave's like, no, this is what's going on there?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. Okay,
wrong band.
Too much. Wrong band. It's like, this is jazz. It's like, this is the, so understanding this. But there's one solo. Is it I don't know which solo. There's one solo that I do a 2-5-1.
On
which
the
is like
upcoming record.
No. Dystopia I'm talking. That I do a quick 2-5-1 in the arpeggio. And then Dave said, like, this is weird. This is wrong. So like, trust me, Dave. This is cool. This is cool. Let me do this,
Trust me, Dave. I'll be talking about this on interviews.
Yeah. Because it was like this chromatic thing, like G, F sharp, F, E, right?
Yep.
And then
I know the tune, and for some reason I can't think of the name of it, but I know
I think it's a post-American world, I guess. Anyways, it's post-American. So it's E, G, F sharp, F. So then I think like the F sharp as a F major and the F as a subdominant of the B. So I play F sharp major and a B major.
Yep.
In this quick.
I see. I love this. I promised myself that I wouldn't talk like music theory and be guitar nerds about things because I like the musical side of things. We could easily have an entire conversation talking music
about
nerd
those.
theory stuff because that's that stuff's great.
But this
great
was
fun.
out of the concept in a way.
Yeah.
But actually, it was, but it was not because Chris Poland was like he was kind of playing this diminished scale, kind of.
Yeah, he plays some wild stuff, and that has kind of it's given me the thing I want to do in order to put you on the spot, because you kind of talked about the pressures that modern guitar players have and the instantly being rated and things like that, and I can only imagine the level of pressure that is involved having to get up with a band like that and having to play the Tornado of Soul solo. Not that it's a challenge for you. I know you can play it no problem, but things like that, the audience expect to hear it and they want to hear it absolutely perfectly. So I can imagine the pressures that are put on you with playing certain classic Megadeth solos. But has anything measured up to the pressure of me sitting here now and asking you, who's your favorite Megadeth guitarist?
My favorite, I see this like Mark Friedman. There's no easy.
Okay, I thought you might say that.
That's easy because I grew up with those guitar players as my heroes.
Yeah.
So in '91, I went to the Megadeth show to see Mark Friedman.
Yeah.
So that's very easy. Chris Poland was not on my radar.
Right.
Because the early days of Megadeth from Brazil, we didn't have access to those first albums, which is something that I tell the guys.
Sure.
When you tour in South America, listen, because from the North American perspective, they would really, they love those first albums. And I can tell, hey guys, until '89, there's like, military dictatorship going on in South America. It's, or like, maybe slowing down or whatever, but we didn't have access to those albums. So, and no concerts. So the concerts, they started slowly in the '90s. So the access, the fans leaving that music is from the '90s. So you have to consider that. And that's something that I kind of, that's a good thing to have a guy that grew up with another perspective.
Yeah.
Another thing that English is not my first language. I tell the guys, look, when you're playing some songs you guys think is cool because you understand what you're singing, but but people just want to hear the two words chorus kind of thing. Because some songs from Megadeth, there's a lot of let me tell you a story kind of a lot of, storytelling things, and then I say like some of those songs people don't know what you're talking about, like then because I know just because I know.
For anyone that
they're
doesn't
into
know,
the riff, if the song doesn't have a cool riff, because it's almost like instrumental song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. I think that
I mean, you don't know, but
because I get the lyrics, but it's strange because I kind of get that not understanding the lyrics, because there's a lot of, I've always been into bands and bands with singers. Instrumental music usually isn't my thing, but I don't know. I very rarely listen to lyrics. It's K-Mac that pointed out with Megadeth that you can summarize all of Dave's lyric writing as "take down the government," and that's it. Like, just if you just assume that every song is "take down the government," then you've got the general gist of the song. You gave the wrong answer though, because of course the correct answer for the best guitarist in Megadeth is Dave Mustaine. So I hope that he never sees that you said that Mike Friedman is the best, because he'll he'll fire you. So
no, I actually I did this answer. I answer like this already, because that's such a common.
Sure.
Because of course I already I'm ahead.
Yeah.
Because I know people want to do
Well, I was trying not to be
in
an
my
asshole.
place.
Right before the words came out of my mouth, I was going to say, who's your least favorite Megadeth guitarist? That would be a controversial one, right? Don't worry, you don't have to answer that one. Yeah, no, don't answer that one. You can't say that. You can't say that. Everyone knows the answer, but you can't say it. But You
No,
mentioned
because Martin Friedman has a relation, and then I met him, and
Yeah.
then he's in the album.
Yeah. Oh
He
yeah,
recorded
of course.
solo.
Yeah, he's on
Yeah.
open source.
Yeah.
With lots of Mad Harmony stuff. Yeah, you mentioned Chris Poland, and I will encourage everybody to go and check out Chris Poland. Playing with Megadeth
It's
is
amazing.
fantastic, but
So
he's
Chris
just
Poland I discovered, and I was like, amazing. And I had the chance to listen to the isolated tracks of the
Right.
solos, and then like it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like really good stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's very hard to play,
Oh yeah.
and it's like much more. It's like fusion, like
Yeah.
70s fusion kind of.
Yeah.
Like trying to be kind of some kind of Alan Holdsworth kind of.
Sure.
You
That's
know,
a good way of
but
putting it.
metal.
Yeah, the way I try and sell him to people is there are a lot of fans out there of Sean Lane, and I'm like, look, Sean's not with us anymore, but if you want somebody that's got that kind of just hyper speed, mad, like insane explosion of sound thing, like Chris Poland is your guy. Go and check out Chris Poland playing,
Good
he's
point.
just got
Good
that,
point. Yeah,
got that thing.
Good
so,
point.
So I like that.
But everybody in Megadeth did great work because
Yeah.
But of course, Dave is a different thing. I can't talk about Dave because Dave, of course, he's a great guitarist.
Yeah.
But he's much more than that. He's just like he's an artist.
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly what I was going to say.
I wouldn't put him like, oh, he's the best guitar player. I
Sure.
not even think about Dave because I know people want me to compare Chris Poland to Chris Broderick or me, this competition kind of vibe. But Dave is much more than that. Yeah. Dave is not about the pentatonic licks that he plays, It's way more than that. He's a creator of a style of music.
Absolutely. Yeah. He has an artistic vision.
This is like people can not even understand what is that.
Yeah.
It's like you think about Van Halen. Of course, he got his influence by punk, Scorpions, or Uli Roth, or American Southern rock or something,
Sure.
It's all there. But he created something, and he's a creator, like a composer. And then you have the logo, Vic.
Yeah.
So when you create like an environment, a new world, right? Megadeth take down the government.
Yeah.
Thing with that logo.
Yeah.
So it's all there. So it's much. The guitar is like a 10%.
Sure.
Of the whole thing, like how to create a band and keep the band for so many years.
Yeah.
I know he's being famous of changing the band members all the time. But anyways, like 30 years,
Yeah. And you can change band members, and it's always going to be Megadeth because Dave is a creative visionary, and he's got his vision, and he's always executed it. So yeah, and I think probably that's the reason. I think when I listen to Megadeth, I can hear Dave, whereas when I listen to Metallica, I don't really know what I'm hearing. There doesn't seem to be that consistent vision of that driving force.
Metallica is different, but it's good as well. It's just different.
Oh yeah,
People tend to compare because they have this story. Because Dave was from Metallica, people compare this, and people ask me, like, "Hey, Kiko, so play Metallica all the time." It's like I'm not involved in this. I was like, I don't know, like 12 years old, 14 years old, like when they have. So
what you're telling me is every night before you go out and play with Megadeth, Dave Mustaine doesn't stand at the side of the stage and go, "Fuck Lars Ulrich." That doesn't happen. Is that, you can confirm that?
No, they don't.
Good.
I think people dream about this, people.
Petty dramas.
Yeah.
Who cares about that? Okay, let's close up by talking about your Ibanez guitars, because of course you've been with Ibanez for, wow, how many years now?
Yeah, it was like 2013.
A long time.
There.
Long 12. Time. And you've had a couple of signature models over the years, but the one that they're producing currently is the Kiko 10
The Kiko
BP.
200, but actually the Kiko 200 X is in the other room. I was not prepared for that, but anyways.
The 200s are no longer on the website. The only one on the website now is the 10 BP.
So I have the 100 here. Yeah. Actually, those are we're talking about a new.
Sure.
Something new, Otherwise, I have to keep, bringing new stuff. because
Well,
that's
you're
the
always
way
welcome.
the world works.
You're always welcome to give us an exclusive and tell us about the upcoming guitars.
No, just discuss it. No, it's not even. If it would be ready or something,
Yeah, sure.
I would say, but
yeah, you're
So that's I've been playing here, a lot with this guitar.
And it's functionally an S series, right? But it's got some tweaks on it from the standard S series.
Well, the S series is pretty thin, so
Yes.
this has a more standard, a little bit more traditional, I would say.
Yeah. It doesn't have the
other body. So, although I like the S series, the thin,
sure,
the super slim body. Yeah. So
it doesn't have the jack socket on the front of the guitar like the S series, which is kind of cool, right? The plug on the front of the guitar, it's not there. It's on the side of the guitar.
Yeah. There's put this thing here.
Yeah. And you've got the there's a scoop on the upper horn at the back where your hand sits at the neck joint, which is
No, it's like very comfortable. And then there's scalloped frets here from here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see.
But that one's the 100, right?
That's a 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. DiMarzio pickups, designed for this guitar. Kind of like a PF Pro, like the 36th anniversary.
Yep.
That's the one I used to have before. Andy Timmons, I used to have.
Sure.
Andy Timmons, DiMarzio. So then I talked to the guys from DiMarzio and Steve Butcher.
Yeah.
And then I said, I like those, but, I play metal. So.
Sure.
But sometimes I want to play kind of fusion, so, do your magic.
Yeah.
Now I understand what I want, so. So basically, but it came from those PF Pros characteristics, right?
You've also been experimenting. Let's try that again. You've also been experimenting with 8-string guitar, right? There's 8-string on open source. How are you finding that?
I did that one. Yeah, I mean, so how to be. So concepts, right? Concepts before having the songs or when you have some ideas. It's like Kiko 2020. Who's this guy? Should I go against and keep tradition because I'm a 6-strings guy, and then I had the chance to play 7 strings. I had the 7 strings since 90s, since Korn, since Steve Vai. I remember having at home a 7-string, and I never felt inspired.
Sure.
Because I had a thing, because the 7-strings instrument is a common instrument in Brazil.
Right.
I don't know if you know. Probably people don't know.
Right.
But acoustic guitar. So the 7 strings is a traditional instrument from Brazil. And then they do crazy stuff. You guys can see Jamandu Costa. It's like really using the 7th string.
Yeah.
So back in the day, everybody was using the 7th string just for to be heavier.
Yeah.
Right? Or Sepultura was doing it with 6 strings, just tuning down to B.
Yeah.
So then I didn't get excited because the guys just sounds heavy, and then you tend to just do you tend to do riffs all the time in 1 string because it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
But you're not really using the whole extension. The idea is to have an instrument that has a larger
an extended range,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So which then you see the guys nowadays, it took 15 years for people to use the guitar the way it should be from the first place. You know what I mean? Mm. And then so in the beginning, I didn't get much excited because I said, well, I still have to know so much from those 6 strings here.
Yeah.
And then I don't need to go to this. I didn't feel. And then my reference was the Brazilian 7-string stuff. That comes from the 40s, from the 50s. People doing amazing stuff. So that's why I didn't get into the 7-string. So in the album, I wanted that sound. I did record some songs with 7 strings in the past, a little bit, and I didn't. So this time I wanted to 8 strings. I would start a riff grab the 8 strings and create a riff and then use that low end. But again, I'm using the low end more for the sound, for the tone, much more than for the extended range. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool sound. The moment we sat down, or you sent me the stems for the album, as soon as I heard that, I was like, "Hello, this is not what I was expecting to hear there." So if it's got that, that evolution.
4 songs. There's 4 songs. I'm using the 8-string, 7 strings. They're heavier.
Yeah.
In 4 songs. So yeah, it's good. I'm probably gonna use more and more.
Yeah.
Because it's now once you start it,
It's inspiring, and I guess that leads me really nicely onto what I'd probably consider to be the last sort of question, which is, music is always changing, and artists are coming out, sound is changing, influence is changing. Like, what are you listening to nowadays? What are you influenced by? Are you listening to new music, or are you more like me and you only listen to music from 1950 and before?
1950.
Yeah, I like really old music.
First of all, I don't listen to music a lot, and this has been for many years. Of course, I'm a music fan, and I was listening to new albums, all this, when I was younger. But now, I play.
Right.
Or I don't have any music. It's like silence. And then I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But I cannot do other stuff if music's playing. I cannot do stuff with music in the background.
That's good. I think that's good. That's
so
I
have to do some emails. Gonna put it, the new album of the. No, I can't because then I have to pay attention to the song.
Yeah.
Then the emails, no emails, will be answered.
Yeah, people would say that is how music has changed over the last. I certainly would agree with that as being how music has changed. 20, 30 years ago, when you got music, its purpose was to listen to, whereas now music's purpose for the general public seems to be background noise while they do other things, which might be why it's been devalued.
And then also there's another thing for me in music. Music is a good thing, right? Is something that feeds you. So I see people saying like, "Oh, I'm stuck in traffic, so I'm stressed, so I'm gonna put some music," right? And I get it, but for me it doesn't work because music is a good thing. Music has to be in the good moments. If I'm stressed, it's like silence, and if it's silence, it's like no music because I don't want to connect music with anxiety or stress.
Right. Okay.
So if I'm relaxed, in a good mood, whatever. Sunday morning, family, put some music, that would be the idea for music. Or take a walk and put some songs to listen to, and then you're like, sightseeing something and then have some music. That's the purpose for me. That's what I want from music, that I need from music. Or I'm just like doing my research, which is different.
Sure.
Research is different.
Right.
Let me see what now somebody talks about some band, I was listening yesterday. I saw that I'm a big fan of Steven Wilson.
Sure.
So yesterday I saw, he has a new album. It's actually a few weeks ago. It's like, let me listen. So I listened a little bit. Okay, get it. So now at some point I take a walk or something. I will listen to the album, and which because I like the artist. And I went to listen to Kiko Loureiro the other day.
Of course.
Because, Kiko Loureiro passed away. It's like, let me listen. And then I was listening to the Return to Forever.
Yeah.
Right? The Spain and 500 miles high. And just to get, because we know those songs, but okay, let me listen to the album. And I was listening to the album. And then kind of, because there's 2 Brazilians there, right? The singer, Flora, and Ayrton Moreira, the percussionist. And it's like how they were improvising and how Kiko Loureiro was doing the stuff with the shaker and then the whole thing. And how the 70s is a blend of, because the Brazilian guys doing all the Brazilian rhythms that I know the rhythms because I use on my songs as well. But Kiko Loureiro is not doing that.
Yeah.
Because he's not Brazilian. So he feels in this different way. And the drummer is playing like jazz. And then this combination created this 70s fusion. which is fusion, right? And then Chico Loureiro is doing like this Latin, what he imagines is Latin, which is like, like
I love that. What he
down the
imagines is
equator,
Latin.
whatever is down the equator is like, okay, this is the same as this and this, but it's completely, it's like saying like, oh, music from Africa, like it's like continent. It's like, come on. So I know the Brazilian, different places and different rhythms a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can see the Brazilian guy, Ayrton Moreira, doing like, and then Chico Loureiro is doing like a Caribbean thing, which is not related, but it's cool. I'm not saying it's, and then the drummer is like playing this New York jazz, on top. And then I think it's amazing. And those like more modal chords and harmonies. So that's what that is, listening to music.
You're breaking my heart
for
here.
me.
Yeah, but so what you're telling me is when I went to music school and I sat in my percussion classes and we, for hours and hours, had to practice our 3/2 song claves and then our bossa claves and then our rumba claves. You're telling me that I don't know Latin music now? You're telling me that there's more to it than just being able to play a rhythm? Is there? How exciting! How exciting! I'm glad that I didn't waste my money going to music school.
No, it's like no, it's like saying that it's an ethnic music. So it's ethnic music. It's like blues. Blues and ethnic music.
Sure.
We can play blues. I don't play blues. And people, can you play a blues? I play pentatonics.
Yeah.
And then I know some licks, and then I know the 3 chords.
Sure.
And then I'm not playing the blues.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand.
You have to live it.
This guy, So, but it's good if you know the clave. But the Brazilians, they never talk about the clave.
Exactly.
It's a Cuban thing,
Yeah.
But it's okay. But even in Brazil, they mix because, of course, you get influenced by the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Caribbean but if you go deep into each one, it's like, oh, this is maracatu. This is like a songo. This is like, and then, I mean, then it's more specific, Even
really
the blues.
Cool. Yeah.
Right? Or Chicago blues. I don't know anything, right? Chicago blues or Delta blues or whatever, Texas blues. It's different.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And it's really different if you're there.
Yeah.
It must be like, of course, the Texas blues is not the Chicago blues.
Yeah.
For me, it's like blues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so like,
that's why I bring it up, though,
and B.B. King and Eric Clapton. It's not even American.
It should be exciting.
As far as I know.
I love you talking about Brazilian music because I want people to go and get into the minutiae of Brazilian music and understand that you've got all these different sounds in the same way that you mentioned there with blues. Or the one that really drove me insane was I got a great book, Michael Horowitz's book on gypsy jazz rhythm, because I'm really into gypsy jazz. And in there, he breaks down the subtle variations of the Le Pomp rhythm that you get between French players and German players. And that to me is like, I'd never pick that up. Just listening to players, you need to appreciate that there is so much more depth to different cultures' music, and it's kind of fun to throw yourself in. So
because exactly.
Brazilian.
But because we're talking about a whole culture, which is like a country with hundreds of years or more.
Yeah.
And then there's a reason for this stuff to exist. And this is combined with the way they dance, the way they eat, the way that's what we call culture. Yeah. So if you want to play the blues or if you want to play the gypsy jazz, it's good to get inside the culture. And I believe, like I was thinking while listening to the Chico Loureiro, the best way to do this is to bring one guy to your band.
Right.
So, that's the best way to do it. So Chico Loureiro wants to go like Latin. Okay, bring a Brazilian percussionist.
Sure.
That's what Pat Metheny did.
Yeah.
And then many other guys like Wayne Shorter has a beautiful album, Native Dancer, also with a lot of Brazilian, because in the 70s, the Brazilian music was also a very, this exchange with jazz and fusion was very intense.
Yeah.
And so the best way to do it, if you want to learn how to play gypsy jazz, do a duo with a real gypsy jazz guy. Bring the guy from France and do it. And then that's the best way for you to learn, because you learn not only when you play, you will learn the way he talks.
Yeah.
the way he talks, the accent, the whole thing, the way he thinks. And then it's like, oh,
So what
really?
we're concluding from this is that Dave Mustaine has hired you for Megadeth because he wants a Brazilian in the band, because he wants some. That's it. Okay, right, confirmed. Ultimate Guitar are going to report on this. Kiko Loureiro confirms the next Megadeth album is a Brazilian fusion album. I like that.
But he did say, you know, like, so the situation, I mean, or this conversation is going to be forever, but, you know, I don't know who's going to watch this. Okay. The Megadeth audition was not really I thought it would be an audition, like maybe all the guys there. I took my guitar, but I took my acoustic guitar because that's like my, you know, my extra, you know, card. So, because, you know, pentatonics, everybody knows how to play. So I thought, well, I'm going to play my acoustic guitar here. I will bring it because I know March Friedman has a special thing.
Yeah.
Chris Poland has a special thing. So everybody has a special thing. My special thing would be to play the acoustic guitar nylon, classical. Yeah. That would be my special thing, or this Brazilian stuff. We don't need to name Brazilian. It's a special thing. It's something that's not typical from a guy from LA, would say. I just have it with me. If I had the chance, I can, you know, play something. But what happened was there was no audition. He didn't ask me to play any songs. I did the videos that actually I posted on my channel, the videos that I sent. But then he had like a phone call. He went to have a phone call, and it took forever. And then I was like there in his house, you know. It's like, well, I'm not gonna be started like going to the fridge or. So I was like in this room, like waiting. I'm here like in the Dave Mustaine house, like waiting, like all those, you know, like platinum albums on the wall and stuff like that, you know. And I was like, so I grabbed my acoustic guitar, just playing. So a beautiful house, like, because that's the best thing when you have nothing to do, have an acoustic guitar, best. Yeah. The best moment for me. And then I was playing. And then later, he didn't tell me anything, but later in interviews, he said, I knew it was the guy because when I was on the phone, I heard him play the acoustic guitar.
Nice.
You know? So he said, okay, this guy has something that is more than the riffs. So if he's able to play the riffs and do the solos that clearly you watch some YouTube videos, you can see that I have the technique to be able to play the songs.
Yeah.
So what else?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, again, we talk about Dave Mustaine being an artist. He knows what he needs. He knows that you're capable of doing the thing. I imagine that interview was purely a personality test. Like, do I like this guy? Can I get on with this guy? Can I be on the road with this guy? And you can definitely be on the road with somebody that can pick up an acoustic guitar and play beautiful music. That's always that's gonna
serenade.
That's gonna save you. So okay, I guess to close this up, I'm going to recommend that people go and check out, of course, Open Source, your latest record. Download the all of the stems and everything, and get involved. You know, share it with your friends. Talk to people about the concept of having a more open source approach to music. And of course, I will encourage people to go and buy the transcriptions because they're excellent. And don't sleep on No Gravity either, guys.
100%, yeah. The open source, the tracks, just get the drums, get the rhythm guitar, create a new melody, tag me, I probably going to share or something, show, you know, like just do it, whatever you want. Yeah, change the tempo and then do other songs. Just use it. You know?
I had this vision actually of not when I was doing your stuff, but just thinking of all these ideas of the great isolated guitar tracks that exist out there, and how cool it would be to maybe like take an Eddie Van Halen solo and write something else that it was played over the top of, if that makes sense. You know, to take Eddie's licks and put them on something else and just experiment and do cool things. So do that. Go and buy the transcriptions, and also go and check out the No Gravity transcriptions. Go and check out No Gravity, and I won't recommend checking out the other albums yet. Check those out when the transcriptions come. You're gonna love them.
Yes.
But yeah, go and
thanks
go
a lot
play
for all the work you did.
My pleasure.
You know, thank you very much.
It's going to be a very, very long time before I can look at any work that I do and say that it's higher up in terms of things that I'm proud of than No Gravity. Like that 325 pages of an album that I've listened to regularly for 15 years. It's cool to have played a tiny part in its history now. So thank you very much for that. Where can people go to check out more of your stuff? You, of course, are a big YouTuber, 530,000 subscribers. You're doing lots of live streams over
YouTube channel, Instagram, just follow, and I'm always there, you know. I'm not a professional super, but I do my stuff there. It's a lot of stuff to watch.
You're not a professional. 500,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I'm professional to do videos every day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Lots of live streams and events and things. And who knows if the world ever starts up again and we can go out and play gigs again? Go and check him out. He's pretty. He's pretty talented.
That's fun.
Jam Track Central as well.
Play live.
You've got stuff on Jam Track Central that people should probably go and check out.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
lots of stuff. Go and search for him. His work is absolutely incredible. I am just going to run my credits. Thank you very much to everybody for watching this. If you have enjoyed this, please do go and check out the links in the description below. Check out one of my books. You can see my books on the side here. We've got some names scrolling. You guys are wonderful supporters of the channel over on Patreon. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. You can support the channel for as little as $1. Gets you access to my private Facebook group and all of that good stuff. Download transcriptions that I do as part of challenges, study clubs, or you could even have monthly private lessons with me. Who wouldn't want to have monthly private lessons with me? To be fair, most people, but if that does appeal to you, check out the links in the description. It's very much appreciated. Kiko, do you have any closing messages for everybody?
I just want to thank you very much for this conversation and for the work, and ask people to check the tabs. Great work that we did together, right? Yeah. I mean, you did the tabs and I wrote the songs.
Yeah.
So,
it's open source.
Yeah, open source. So guys, I don't know if we're going to put the link somewhere.
Links are everywhere.
Otherwise, you just put a Shopify, Kiko Loureiro, and then you find my store there, and then you find all the stuff with the backing tracks, the guitar pros and tabs, and beautiful artwork from the album. Yeah, all good.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks very much for your time. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Take care.